Our friends at Starbridge Venture Capital talk a good bit about the Starship Singularity. They think it's going to change quite a lot if it works. What do you think? Is that a descriptive phrase, or is it off? Is Starship going to make as much difference as we think?
Heavy reusable station to low Earth orbit and back is the biggest game changer in the space industry in human history. Henry Hertzfeld of George Washington University wrote some papers back in maybe the last century. Henry might not be happy for me to say that, but he wrote papers about the inelasticity of launch pricing. Did a lot of analysis of how it might take hundreds or thousands of launches to really lower the cost between that 10,000 pound kilogram to low Earth orbit threshold, plus or minus commercial or government pricing. I think the rationale and premise for those sorts of assumptions in a mass optimized engineering culture were reasonable. When you build a vehicle that is fully reusable, has so much payload capacity that you can sacrifice a portion of that payload capacity for your return propellant to the Earth's surface, and you still have more free payload capacity to low Earth orbit than a dozen other launch vehicles combined. Every business can now switch its thinking from mass optimized spacecraft engineering to cost optimized. It's not how many ounces you can shave off your spacecraft to optimize your launch pricing and make your mission affordable. It's now how do you generate revenue and profit and add value and service commercially, rapidly, and robustly as quickly as possible. It just so happens that Offworld has been operating under this premise for the last 7 years since we incorporated, because we're serving terrestrial industries. But Starship will enable the opening up of, or let's say the accessibility of economic fortune to anyone who wants to provide it. Talking about a singularity, I think is a good way to put it. Imagine us being on the East Coast in the 1800s and having no way to get to the West Coast. Not even if we walked or took a donkey.
Yeah.
Or let's say we can take some expendable donkeys. What we have, the analogy is cliched, but Starship really is the first railway.
Yeah.
It really, if it works as the SpaceX team under Elon's leadership advocate, it will really be the first railroad, because you can ride the train in one direction and you can return it back where it started in the same configuration.
Yeah.
Once you restack it. And this is everything, and it's perfectly designed for off-world. We'll be filling up starships with our robots as possibly one of the first full load customers.
Yeah,
we'll probably be amongst the first customers for Starship that would purchase the entire capacity. They'll be our galleons heading to our new.
I'm sure Elon is happy to hear that, or would be happy to hear that. Yeah.